All right, welcome back, everybody. Glad you're still here, still from the comfort of my garage. And the good thing about working from home, I guess, is that you can get your own food delivered. So while Kevin is going to do his talk, I'm going to sit back and eat my pasta and enjoy that. So Kevin, you've been optimizing systems for a long time. I've just learned he's been doing this since Windows XP. With that, I would like to give the mic to you, and let's see what he's got.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Welcome to Nutanix EUC Solutions, from VDI infrastructure to desktop as a service. My name is Kevin Bacon. I'm end user computing solutions architect for Nutanix. And, I have to admit, I like to join a lot of webinars during the week whenever I've got time, but sometimes I join and then I lose interest in a few minutes. So I wanted to make this short and sweet. We've just got 15 minutes. I want to make sure we leave time for Q&A. But I have just 10 slides for you guys today to really just walk you through just a little taste of what Nutanix is bringing to this space. And I've got basically just one slide intro, 4 slides on VDI, 4 slides on desktop as a service, and 1 slide on our 2 new offers in both those spaces. So let's get right into it. One of the things interesting about Nutanix is although we're not a VDI company or an EUC company per se, although it's quickly changing, we've been in the VDI space since the very, very beginning. Most of our first sales back in 2012, 2013 were all for VDI, and so we really understand VDI. We've got thousands of customers. We believe around 3 million users, and people keep coming back because of that world-class support that they get from the stack. So today it's evolved a little bit. So we actually have kind of 2 different flavors, if you will. We've got folks that are using Nutanix as this complete platform, this complete stack for traditional brokers. So that, of course, is going to be your Citrix implementations, your VMware Horizon implementations. We basically bring the full stack, the one-click simplicity, the best ROI, and the ability to scale from hundreds of users to thousands and tens of thousands of users, all with linear scalability. We'll talk about that. And then newest to our portfolio is desktop as a service. So, and it's interesting with this space, we have an in-house offering, Nutanix Frame, as well as our partnership with Citrix Cloud. And we really see a lot of interest, especially folks that are newer to this space, adopting, cloud-centric models such as these. And obviously with work from home as well, you see folks want to be able to spin up things in a matter of hours. And that's really your only option if you want to go from start to work from home in a matter of hours or days. You're looking at different cloud architectures. But the difference here is that with both of our solutions here, you can mix and match your cloud of choice, whether that's any of the public clouds, as well as Nutanix on-prem as well, and even a mix of the 2. So let's jump into and take a look at what that traditional VDI stack looks like for Nutanix customers. So if you take a look, right, we've got that desktop and app broker. And for the most part, that's going to be your Citrix, your VMware stack, right? And then you can see that Nutanix really surrounds the solution from a hardware perspective, virtualization, and even things like files. So at the bottom, we really have this hyper-converged infrastructure, right? So that's the genesis of the company, of converging compute, storage, hardware, networking, and hypervisor, right? So that's our Nutanix operating system, what we call AOS, or Acropolis operating system. That's Prism. It's our single unified interface that offers one-click updates and a single pane of glass for all of your deployments globally. And Flow, which is our network security offering that does virtual switch and microsegmentation. And then at the hypervisor level, we have a similar model where you can use our virtualization that comes from the factory. It's integrated with the rest of our stack, or you have the option of switching that out for something like a VMware ESXi or a Microsoft Hyper-V. And then we also have a NAS storage. So for the most part, our original hyper-converged infrastructure is around VMs, and the storage goes along with there. But for VDI, we've had for several years now where you can actually run your NAS, your network attached storage, as a virtual scale-out cluster right on top of the same Nutanix infrastructure. And so we call that Nutanix Files. It used to be called Acropolis File Services, AFS, and the new name is Nutanix Files. So you can see how we kind of wrap around the traditional, broker software with a complete stack so that you don't need to go out and buy all the different pieces and sew them together yourselves. So the big benefit here is really allowing you to not have to have a crystal ball. Okay, I've been doing Citrix and VDI for a long time. No one ever knows how many users they're going to have tomorrow, or especially not a year, 2, 3 years from now. So you need to have an infrastructure that's designed for any scale, and it's flexible and agile, and that's what Nutanix brings. And so that way, if there's a pandemic and you need 5x the number of users, you can quickly scale up. Not like that would ever happen, but just in case. And so we're seeing that, right? We're seeing customers. This is probably the largest quarter we've had to date already in terms of customers that are scaling up VDI and also looking at desktop as a service as well. But the idea here is that you can start small, and then as you have more users, as you have more applications, as you have a sudden, maybe a new influx of users with a could be an acquisition or whatever, that you can just quickly add more nodes. And it's kind of like this Lego building blocks where you can just add more blocks and you get the same exact architecture, the same exact Prism interface, the same exact performance, and just that consistency for the end users where they don't have to see that pain of scaling up and adding users. So it's very different from traditional models where you start out, the first 100 users is great performance, but then as you start packing more users on the same stack, you start getting performance starts to go down, the user experience starts to suffer. We've seen a couple of customers on here that have seen this, that have started small with us and have grown to thousands of users. So we've got customer after customer example of that. And the other big thing for customers is no one wants to spend months or years rolling out new infrastructure, new IT projects, right? Especially in the cloud era. And so one of the things we've done with Nutanix is we've automated the entire life cycle from standing up the infrastructure, updating the infrastructure, retiring the infrastructure. It's all 100% automated in software, including installing our software and installing your hypervisor, setting up networking, patching, updating. It's just, that's no longer a weekend project. There's no longer outage windows associated with those tasks. They can be done in the middle of the day without any downtime. And we've seen that again with a couple more customers here that have seen Cardinal was a merger and acquisition where they had to basically bring on new users in a real quick time frame. And we've seen that just across the board, especially now with people rapidly scaling up work from home. We're just seeing customers that want to quickly expand, and we've been able to deliver that. And of course, for the business, that we stand behind lowest operating costs for VDI. We've got the white papers independently reviewed by IDC that shows basically a 60% reduction in cost, and a lot of that comes from better productivity because there's zero planned outages. There's 99%, 97% less unplanned downtimes. The amount of staff time it takes to update storage, provision VMs, patch the systems, all of that's dramatically reduced with Nutanix. And so let's also switch gears to desktop as a service. Let's take a look at that stack. And as before, it's a partnership model and also an in-house model. So we offer Nutanix Frame. That's our Nutanix solution. It's actually, you probably heard a lot about it earlier from Ruben. It's our in-house desktop as a service. It's hosted in the cloud. You can, and it's basically got its own, broker. It's VDI, et cetera. We also partner with Citrix Cloud, which obviously offers a similar solution in the cloud that can spin up quickly. And then from an infrastructure perspective, it's all about hybrid cloud and choose your own. So you can choose any of the clouds here, as well as run it on-prem on Nutanix with AHV. We've got integrations for both there. And then as well as the home directories, you can leverage native cloud storage, as well as an on-prem traditional NAS like Nutanix Files. And so let's take a look at the benefits there. Clearly for desktop as a service, the big benefit is zero to production in hours or days. And this was actually a customer this month. You can see the tweets from just a couple weeks ago. They actually, the entire sales cycle and build out was 4 days, like literally from getting it quoted to getting their own in-house purchasing to approve it, getting our support on the phone, rolling out images, rolling out the cloud. They had users on this in 4 days. So that's pretty spectacular what some of the cloud technologies can bring there. The other big benefit we see with desktop as a service is obviously this unlimited scale, and that you can leverage multiple clouds geographically distributed across the world. And for this is actually a market research company, and so they have these different projects that come in. They last for a couple days or maybe a week, and you can see this was basically a period of about 6 months, and you can see some weeks they had almost 0 users, and some weeks they had 12,000 users. So clearly that kind of demand that's not consistent is not going to work with traditional VDI models, and the cloud's going to be the lowest cost here every time. And so you can see how something like that is going to make sense in the cloud. We've also got a couple customers. They're actually the biggest brands in yearbook design, actually, in education. And so if you go back to high school, you can imagine the students and the staff that are designing yearbooks. It's only a certain time of the year where they're really busy. They're only doing it a couple classes, maybe a couple hours a day. And so you can see this annual usage pattern on the right, the weekly usage pattern on the right. And again, it's this very inconsistent usage pattern, which just lends itself to those cloud economics, right? Of being able to spin up and spin down workloads and only pay for what you use. And so to summarize, we've got 2 new offers that we're rolling out, and we actually just rolled out both of these in the last 30 days, and really as a response to of supporting our customers, and then broadcasting to customers that we don't have yet of what we can do for them. And so on the left is called Fast Track for VDI. The goal here is to take customers that already have some VDI in-house, like a Citrix or Horizon View, but they're looking at adding thousands of users, but want to do this in a matter of a couple weeks. And so that's what we've put together this offer where we've got pre-configured deployments. We're pre-building the hardware in manufacturing so we can ship it in a matter of a few days. In the U.S., we're actually saying 10 to 15 days delivery from the PO, and then we're also having our professional services engaged to do complete installs in 5 days. Okay, so we're really focusing that around just how fast we can really scale up. And so that's for customers that may be on existing infrastructure where there's no way they'd be able to acquire all the bits and pieces and put it all together in that amount of time. And then we've also got for if you need to do this in hours or a couple days, and you don't have any in-house expertise around Citrix or Horizon, then that's where we'd point you towards the work from anywhere offer with Frame. So this is choose your cloud. Could be Amazon, could be Azure, could be Google Cloud. You can be up and running in hours. And what we're doing is we've got a free 30-day trial, and it's for an unlimited number of users. So you can literally bring in 500 users and have them all be working for a month before you have to commit to anything. And so you can learn more about both these offers. I put the links on here, Nutanix.com/scale VDI deployment, Nutanix.com/work from home, or of course, just throw that in Google. It'll take you right to there. So that's all I had time for today. Let's see, Mark, have you been monitoring the Q&A? Anything going on there?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Kevin. Questions coming in. So there's a question from Reshma. What exactly Nutanix covers in hardware, software, and professional services?
Right, yeah, so the hardware is actually our NX line. So these are servers from our factory out of California. And so that would be your compute, it's hyper-converged, right? So it's got your compute memory and your storage all in one bundle. And then it's all of the Nutanix software. So that's the storage software, the hypervisor software, the network attached storage software, and then the professional services is designed to be done remotely, of course, because of the travel restrictions that are in place. But that's essentially the bundle. And the idea is that we've got 3 different flavors: one for task workers, knowledge workers, and power users. And so the idea is, small, medium, large T-shirt size. Normally we don't just throw three T-shirt sizes out and say pick one of those. We usually customize it for each customer. But what we're trying to do is create kind of pre-configured solutions, and where the factory is already ready to go and already is actually pre-building some of these so we can ship them really quickly.
All right. And question from VJ. is there any value in doing an on-premises deployment of Frame, since we are a Nutanix shop anyways?
Yeah, so that's actually the newer offering. So Frame supports all the major public clouds, and then we also have added within the last 6 to 9 months, we've added Nutanix AHV. So if you're already a Nutanix customer, or you want to have, or there's a portion of your virtual desktop needs that is fairly consistent, and it would make more sense to just run it on-prem, the same Nutanix Frame management plane will then just connect right into Nutanix AHV, and you can run your desktops in your own data center or in some sort of colo facility, for example. And so the big benefit there is that you still get the simplicity of Frame, and that it's just so easy to use. It's a very simple cloud management plane, but then you get the lower cost of and predictability of just buying your own infrastructure and running it in-house.
Cool. So the previous slide, there was a link on that. Could you quickly show that again, this question? Salim?
Sure.
Cool. So we have that. If you guys have further questions, we're out of time here because the next session is already queued to go in a few minutes. But I believe your colleague Abbas is running the virtual booth on the Virtual Expo, so you can chat there as long as you want, and they'll be ready for questions. Maybe Kevin, I don't know if you're going to the booth also, but
yeah, I'll be. We've got a few architects there in the booth today monitoring that, so please ask us some questions there.
All right. Well, Kevin, on that, thank you very much. And let's talk again soon. Take care. See you in the next session. Bye-bye.